Yes, good morning to the students. Now we can go for the introduction of human anatomy and physiology. So, what is the anatomy and what is the physiology? So, the two are the basic bioscience. The anatomy and physiology are the two bioscience in related to the human beings. So these biosciences may apply to the human beings or in plants, any portions of the subject or object. So the anatomy and physiology basic subjects, basic bioscience. The bioscience is nothing but a science or a knowledge of the subject or object. So here the structural aspect and functional aspect. The structural aspect, you can take it neither living things or a non-living things. Both are having structural and functional. So the structural means how it is built and how it is formed. What are the structures? That is a structural concept. And the functional means what is its use, how we are using and how we are taking, what is its function. That is the point you have to be understood. So that is the point you have to be make it understanding. So that is why that is to make the subjects in a position. So just there are the two terms, anatomy and physiology. The anatomy is nothing but a study of structure. The study of the structure means how it is, what are its parts, what are its locations, and what will be the how it is formation. So then how it will be utilized, what is the use of that object. So that is usually take it as a functional concept. So that is study of function, physiology, study of structure is anatomy. So be remembers these two terms are in main related to the Greek and explanation. So what is the anatomy? In a Greek word, it is called as a cutting up. Cutting up means you have to cut up. So that is the explanations of anatomy. There are the two terms in the positions. There it will be a point of the things. You have to be take it as of the portion. So here the identification, how. So we have to make it to cut. Then only it will be making a clear concept of the understanding. So what we are cutting, that is a part of structure. So in related to the human beings, we want to know the study of the human beings, we have to cut. What to be cut? The body, the human body to cut. How? So that is the dissection, the human dead body, we have to go for cut, and that gives the knowledge of that of the human structures, that is considered as a human anatomy. Suppose if we cut the living body, it is not an anatomy, it is becomes as a treatment concept, that is surgery, shalya. So that is the point we have to be remembered in the position of the things. So that is why the study of structure is anatomy, that is to cut. So we are the profession medical related. What we have to do? We have to cut the human dead body to understand the each and every part of the human body. Then only we are able to future aspect. So that is why the anatomy, that is to cut. What to be cut? Human dead body cut. Then what is the physiology? The physiology is the relationship to nature as according to the Greek. So always the structure is always related to the function. So any structure, you take a living or non-living, that is related to the function. For example, you are using a pen. What is the pen? The pen is a structure. So when we are using that structure while writing, what is that? It is a function. So in that way, always the function is related with a structure, or a structure is always related to the function. So you take it a house. So what is the house? It is in a construction. By any different materials, it is constructed and becomes the one shape. So it is used as a house, residence. So once you are going to the residence, what is the use of that residence? That is nothing but the portion of we are living in that house. So what is the function of the house? It is a site for the living. It helps to live. It helps to enjoy. It helps to all the things that is to be considered as a function. So in these two ways, that is the anatomy and physiology. Why should have to be called as a bioscience? See, the bio means life. The science means the knowledge, the function, or about that anatomy, the knowledge about that life. See, what is the life? So life is nothing but a particular period. Say for example, we are using a pen from starting to the some certain periods. After the some period, the pen is not used. That means it is not functional concept. It is stopped to function. So then we are throwing. So then the life is of the pen is certain period. So in that way, every object that have any particular life from starting point to the ending point. So even though the building is say the 50 years life, 10 years life, or 20 years life, like that. So everything has a particular lifespan. So that lifespan is usually called as bio. Once you are getting the knowledge of that bio, then it is called as bioscience. So that is why the anatomy and physiology are the bioscience, life science. So the two terms, that is life and science. So we remember the life is a certain period to the living things or to the non-living things. So usually we are dealing with the living things in tomorrow to treat and to maintain the normal health. That is the main two principles of Ayurveda. So one is to maintain the healthy life, arogya, and another one is to treat the diseases. That is the another point. So the two concepts in related to the medical science, neither it may be a Ayurveda, homeopathy, naturopathy, any science of life. So that is the two basic principles. One, to maintain the healthy life, and to again to balance the imbalances in the body. Dosha Vaishamya, Dhatu Vaishamya, Mala Vaishamya, or whatever it may be. So we have to maintain the Vaishamya. That is the one point. So these are the two basic points in related to the human beings. So we are studying the human beings, we are dealing with the human beings, we are treating with the human beings, and we are giving the advice to maintain the normal health of the human beings. So that is the point you have to be remembered in related to the bioscience. And once you are having any clear of this bioscience, see, that is the definition. It is the science which deals with the structures and relations among the structure of living organisms. So that is nothing but study of structure is anatomy, and that anatomy is derived from the Greek word. Just you have to be concept of this relations. So the physiology, anatomy, the main two bioscience in related to the part of portion. So now again come back to the positions. So now you can take it as a consideration of the things. What will be the positions? So here we can to consider of these positions. So now I would like to give continuations of these portions. So how it will be a helps in these continuations. Then we are to be make up the point. So now what will be the position of the things now? So here, once you are knowing the definitions in a simple word, study of structure and study of function. Simple, it will be understanding of these two bio subjects, bio functions. Then again, when we are going to detail study of this point, so it will make as the details of these things in a subdivisions. For example, what will be the subdivisions of this anatomy? So usually that will be divided into number of classifications, but our basic portion is the cadaveric anatomy. So the cadaveric anatomy means the study on cadavers, that is as a gross anatomy study by direct observation. So the whole medical science is based on cadaveric anatomy. So once we have to make a clearance of this cadaveric anatomy, then only we will be perfect in the living anatomy. So that is why the cadaveric anatomy is nothing but the basic study of anatomy in related to the cadaver. how we have to go for. That is why pratyakshato hi jnanam. So once we are observations directly, each and every part of the human body, and we are understanding and we are knowing the whole particular each and every part of the human body, then we are becoming a master tomorrow. That is why the Ayurveda is explained that nissamshayam jnanam vritra shallasya vanchata shodayitva mritam samyak drishtabhyo angavinishayaha. So that will be the makes a very clear concept of the samhitas. What is that? Nissamshayam jnanam. What we are getting the knowledge, it must be without any doubt. Nissamshayam jnanam. For that what we have to do? Vritra shallasya vanchata. So if you done that of the nissamshaya jnana, you will become such a master. Nissamshayam jnanam vritra shallasya vanchata. You will become such a famous, you will become such a perfect in the field of treatment, in the surgery or in a treatment. So then you will become such a popularity. So that is why, so for that what you have to do? Shodayitva mritam. So you have to dissect the mrita sharira. Shodayitva mritam samyak drishtabhyo. You have to take a proper knowledge. Samyak drishtabhyo angavinishayaha. You can find out and understand and take a proper knowledge of that of the organs, the human body, then you will become such a perfect. That is why shodayitva mritam samyak drishtabhyo angavinishayaha. So if you dissected, if you understand each and every part of the human body and each and every portions of the human body in a both concept of that particularly anatomy and as well as the physiology, then you will become such a perfect. So everyone will be appreciated you and you will become such a popularity in the future of medical science. So this is the concept. On that base, the divisions of the anatomy, that is, first we are based on cadaveric anatomy. So then cadaveric anatomy, how we are going to make it in a two subdivisions as a regional anatomy and systemic anatomy. So what is the regional anatomy? So particular part of the whole body. So for understanding purpose, the body has divided into 6 regions. That is, you already known that the 2 upper limbs, 2 lower limbs, the middle part, that is head and neck, like that the 6 divisions. Suppose I am going to study of the head and neck first. Okay, you continue. No sir, I am going to first study of the middle part, that is the thorax and abdomen. Okay, you continue. No sir, I would like to go first for the upper limbs, upper extremities. Yes, carry on, like that. So whatever is our convenient and our need and necessity, so we can go for in related to the regional wise. That means the whole body is divided into 6 regions, that is 2 upper limbs, 2 lower limbs, head and neck, and middle part, that is trunk. So these 6 regions, that is, according to that we are going to study of the cadavers, and that study is mainly related to the regional anatomy. We can applicable in the other aspect also. Say for example, our whole Karnataka state has divided into a regional wise, like Gulbarga division, Mangalore division, Bangalore division, like that. So that is division wise classification. Then further subdivisions. Under the division there are the subdivisions. For example, if we take upper limb, that upper limb, the two, right and left, then again the limb is divided into a subdivision, sub portions like shoulder, arm region, forearm region and hand region. So like that the division and subdivisions. So according to that regional wise we are going to study, that is considered as a regional anatomy. Then similarly the systemic anatomy, that is the system wise. For example, the organs are grouped and made a one system. That organs are mainly belongs to the similar type of function. Say for example, if we take the digestive organs, that is from oral cavity to the anus, all the organs are comes under this area or in this region, that is to be one system. In that way the body is divided into a number of systems like digestive system, respiratory system, circulatory system, like that. So we are going to study according to the system wise. So I am going to study in related to the digestive system first, okay, respiratory system, circulatory system, like that. So that is usually called as systemic anatomy. So usually there are the two methods of anatomical study. In related to the cadaveric, we have to be better understanding. In that way, one is renal anatomy and another one is systemic anatomy. Apart from that, other divisions are also there. Say for example, living anatomy. So what is this living anatomy? So the living anatomy is a study on live persons with the help of human. So usually the living anatomy is mainly helps in functional concept. For example, you take any organs, the liver, spleen, lungs, like that. So if you have know the functions of the lungs, so then I can identify any abnormality in related to the lungs function. If I know the perfect knowledge of the function of the liver, so then I can identify any abnormality in the liver function by its changes of the function. So that is why the living anatomy is also one of the important points, and living functional concept is main helps. So that is usually called as living anatomy. And also you can take it for example, the enlargement, the size. If you know the perfect normal size of the liver, then you are only able to identification of the enlargement of the spleen, enlargement of the heart, like that. So if you know proper the normal anatomical structure, then we are able to understanding the changes of its size, shape, something like that. That is will be considered as in living part of the human body. So then it will be called as living anatomy. So be remember of this point. Then we'll come to the next. So in a different aspect, so we are going to make it as the embryological related and histological related. So what is the embryology? So the embryology is study that is mainly related to the development of individual before the birth. That is only a development in the mother womb, starting from the fertilization till the end of the delivery of the baby. So that developmental study and that growth of the study, that is usually called as embryological anatomy. That is nothing but developmental anatomy, starting from the fertilization up to the delivery in mother womb. That is nothing but the development of the human body. While we are going to study up that level, then it is called as developmental anatomy. So we remember that is in the related with the developmental anatomy. So in that way, so the developmental anatomy, that is mainly considered as a part of, that is, embryology. So in this way we have to take as embryology. That is nothing but developmental anatomy. How it is a development, how the limbs are developed, how the thorax or abdominal organs or a respiratory organs are, how it will be development. So that study is called as developmental anatomy. Then what about the histology? The another study is called as histology. So the histology is nothing but microscopic anatomy. That means the microscopic anatomy, that is nothing but under the microscope we are going to study of the organs, we are going to study of the minute level, because what we are seeing in the gross, the liver is different. But when we are going to the minute study of the liver, that is at the level of cellular stage, because each and every organ is formed by the group of cells. You know that what is the human body? It is nothing but totally a billions of number of cells. So these cellular study under the microscope, then we will get the knowledge of that of the neither normal or abnormal or something change in that of the particular, that is called as microscopic anatomy, cellular level. So what is histology? Histology is nothing but study of tissue. You already known that the cells becomes a group and forms as a tissue. The tissues group becomes organ. The organs group becomes system. The system groups becomes the human organism. So that is the different level. We are going to study at the different level. So that will be consideration as a portion of level of different anatomical study. So here the histology, that is nothing but study of the structures in a tissues level and as well as in the cellular level under the help of microscope, and that study is called as microscopic anatomy. So that is cytology, histology, splanchnology, like that. So systematology, all that will be having a different levels. So if we remember logy, all the words are ends in a logy, L-O-G-Y. For example, pharmacology, cystology, cytology, that is all the things should be related to the science of knowledge. Take it for example, the logy is nothing but a science. it gives the knowledge, it gives the portion of identification. So that is usually called as the science of knowledge. So you must have to be understood about that of the portions. So that is why that point you have to be identical in related to the histology. So in this way we are going to make it the histology portions. So then again, like in different aspect, radiographic anatomy. So what is the radiographic anatomy? Again here also we are going to study of the organs by taking an X-ray radiology. With the help of the radiology we are going to make it an identification of the organs. Especially this is helps in living anatomy. We wanted to go for study of that of the particular organ or a particular bones aspect where there is the deformity, that can becomes under the radiographic anatomy by help of X-ray technology, that is called as radiographic anatomy. Then again same thing we are going for the experimental anatomy. So experimental anatomy is particularly related to the some of the research work. So we are going to study of that particular factors and that influences and determines how it will be helps and how it will be develops and how it will be changes, how it will be functioning in a different aspect, in a different parts. So we are going to study of that of the human organisms in a different experimental work by our research work or for the observations. We are doing the so many study in related to the experimental aspect. For example, while we are giving the or while we are taking the any particular of the drug act on the human body or in the animal aspect, something like that. So we are going in a different experimental study. So that study is usually called as experimental anatomy. Then again similarly the comparative anatomy. So while we are going to study of the comparative study, how it will be the comparative? That will be comparative with related to the any aspect. For example, it may be related to the any animals or a plants or of the other the organisms in that way. For examples, while I am explaining the nature of the arteries and nature of the veins, you see what is the nature of the arteries. Just I am going to comparing to the arteries arrangement in the body is just like a tree. What is that? The tree is a seed. The beginning one stem, then it divides into branches, and ends in a minute or the structure as a leaf. So in that way the divisions, just similarly the respiratory organ, the lungs, internal bronchi divisions is just like a tree. So this is comparative study, the comparative anatomy. Similarly to the veins, the veins arrangement, the veins nature in the human body just like a rivers. That means all the rivers are joined to the sea. Any different corner or a different regions, the rivers are go and finally joins to the sea. So that is why comparative to the rivers in related to the venous arrangement in the human body. So this is just a comparative study. That comparative study is mainly helps to the make easily identification and easily to get the knowledge of that of the particular. So in this way we are going to make the identification of that of the particular structure. So this is the things you have to be make it clear identical point. That is the one things in related to the point, that is comparative anatomy. Then similarly, the surface anatomy. The surface anatomy means almost it will be the part of living body. So while we have to study the inner organs in related to the skin surface, so mainly we are going to application in related to the surgical point and as well as in clinical point. For example, I want to make a identification of the boundaries of the liver, boundaries of the heart. So there is certain marking on the surface of the body we are going to mark, and this is the region of heart, this is the region of lung, and this is the region of spleen or intestine, like that. On the surface of the body there is a surface markings. On that of the surface markings we are trying to understanding the internal organs. So on the surface of the body, that marking helps for the internal organs relation, how it is, what is the nature and everything. So this type of the study that mainly helps in surgical concept and clinical concept. So then again another one is applied anatomy. So applied anatomy is particularly application of the anatomical knowledge to the medical and surgical treatment. So how? Just for simple example I will give you the fracture of the humerus in a 3 regions: upper region, middle or lower region. If the upper region humerus is fractured, what may be the symptoms or what may be the lakshanas? So we can say the mainly axillary nerve damage, then circumflex humeral vessels are damages if the fracture is in the upper region, that is in the surgical neck. If it is fracture in the middle, the injury of the radial nerve. If there is a fracture in the lower limb, the lower part of the humerus, then it will be consideration as the median nerve and ulnar nerve damage. So this type of the study is considered as a clinical part, clinical anatomy, and that is usually called as applied anatomy. So this applied anatomy is very important and very much more valuable in related to the treatment concept or in clinical related. So that is why while we are studying, always we have to go with the help of applied anatomy, the clinical anatomy. Then only we are able to clean understanding of that of the particular parts. So in that way, so we have to be concentrate of the things in a better understanding. So this will be the helps in related to the concept of that the things.